Good afternoon and welcome to Deakin Stadium in the national capital for men's Premier League football. It's Canberra FC versus Riverina Rhinos. We're getting to the pointy end of the season. It's the important stages of the campaign. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator. Joining me this afternoon on the perch at Deakin Stadium is Capital Football's Dave Jordan. Welcome, Dave. Important match this one for Canberra FC. The situation they find themselves in really is they can't afford really to get anything except to win.
Yeah, not wrong, Russ. It's been a patchy season for Canberra FC, unexpected given them taking out the treble last year. You spoke before the game, it's almost getting to the last chance saloon type stage for them. With all the teams around them in a similar situation, it's going to be a matter of who starts picking up points now and moves ahead of the pack.
Sixth place on the ladder, 14 points to their name. Also this afternoon, Belconnen United play Canberra Olympic at McKellar Park. It's not beyond the realms of possibility, of course. The FC win today, Olympic beat Belconnen. They could be fourth by the time this game finishes this afternoon.
It's a crazy little logjam we've got on the table at the moment for the final spots for us. As you mentioned, if Olympic do the number over Belconnen, then Canberra FC can find themselves clear. But the big obstacle for them, I think, getting into the top four will be overcoming Gungahlin, who they take on in the final round.
Well, they're probably going to have to beat Gungahlin, aren't they, to get, because of the news that came out of Capital Football in the week that the Gungahlin-Belconnen game will be replayed. It'll be started from the 17th minute at Greenway, and Gungahlin will go in with their 2-0 lead. So you'd have to say that they're probably favourites to take the 3 points from that, although you never know in this league. Yeah,
absolutely. You do never know, but it is, I guess, advantage Gungahlin there. They started that match really strongly before the stoppage that we saw last week. They've sort of been the team that a lot of people have looked at as maybe taking that fourth spot for a while. They started on obviously minus 6 points and went on an incredible run to pull themselves back into the fight that they're in now. So they'll be hard to top, I think, for that fourth spot.
They play tomorrow as well, home to Woden Western FC. If Woden Western get 3 points, they're still in the mix.
Yeah, that's it. It's a crazy little situation, basically. Third through to eighth could all change in a matter of weeks, and depending on the results of a couple of games. That'll be a tough task for Woden out there against Gungahlin. We saw them get beaten quite heavily at Melrose earlier in the season when Riley Angelo Santos scored 4 of his own. But like you say, they're not out of the mix.
And the final game of the weekend, Tuggeranong United v Monero Panthers, exactly the same scenario. A Monero win probably cements them in the top 4, looking good for them for the first time for finals for a very long time. A Tuggeranong win, though, means that they're on the cusp of the 4 as well.
Yeah, well, a Tuggeranong win will pull them within just a couple of points, like 2 points of Monero. Monero have been sitting in third. They kind of popped up there. No one really said a lot about them, and then they were just sort of in third place. They've been really strong this season under Jimmy Canaridis in his first campaign there. Like you say, if they win tomorrow, it arguably secures them a spot in the 4 and finals football for 2019.
A couple of seasons ago, you look at those fixtures and you could probably pick the winners, but this season it's really difficult to do so. We'll keep you up to date with what's happening at McKellar Park as well this afternoon. Our focus, though, is here at Deakin Stadium. It's Canberra FC in 6th against the Riverina Rhinos in 9th. They're probably going to get relegated. If they don't, they need to have a remarkable end to the season. They play Gungahlin away, Olympic away, and Tuggeranong home after this. So, speaking to Gabriel Abdallah beforehand, the chances are they're going down. But in recent weeks, their form's been okay. They beat Belconnen 3-1 at the Solar Mad in round 11. A 1-1 draw against Woden Western at Melrose Synthetic, and unfortunate to lose 2-0 to Tigers last week with perhaps a controversial first goal.
Yeah, they've certainly been on the improve. They've had some troubles with squads and numbers and things like that, and it's not easy travelling basically every second week, 5 hours to come play. But Gabriel Abdallah stuck by it. He's doing quite a good job there. And you're right, they'd likely resign to their fate, I guess, with a really tough couple of weeks coming up. I'm expecting them to come out quite hard today and put up a strong fight.
The main issue all season has been player numbers. That's going to be an issue again today. They've turned up with only 12 because of suspensions and unavailabilities. The team's coming out on the field. Let's take a look at them, Dave, starting with Canberra FC. Not entirely sure what formation they're going to put out today. The one they've given us is almost like a 4-4-2. Sam Brown in goal, Jordan Lamb, Daniel Subasic, Matt Gerbischer and Lucas Maragis across the back. Ian Graham, Ryan Keir, Daniel Colbertaldo and Matt Waters, the midfield forward. Daniel Balach and Jason Ugrinich, the forward two.
It's a really strong side, obviously, on paper, Russ, but as we've seen this season, their games haven't been played on paper. Unfortunately for them, Daniel Colbertado is a really big in for them. Their midfield maybe struggled a bit with mobility, I guess, and pace through there the last couple of weeks. particularly in that game against Belconnen United we saw a couple of weeks ago. But, having Matt Waters and Daniel Colbertado drop into that midfield, Tom Milicevic may be unlucky to miss out on a start this week, but interested to see how they play today.
He's one of 4 on the bench. Dom Gianpaolo, Aidan Brunskill and Jason Matasia, the goalkeeper, the Canberra FC. Substitutes the Riverina Rhinos with a 4-2-3-1 formation. Adrian Montagna in goal. Michael Musitano, Luke Pandolfo, Connor Earley and Hudson Fanani across the back. Joe Priest and Isaac Donadell, the holding midfielders. A midfield 3 in front of them of Jack Moon, Alexander Mulrooney Castellano and Luke Santolin. 6 goal Keith Jackson leads the line.
Yeah, Keith Jackson's been, really exciting for them so far this season. He's scored a number of goals. He's looked very good in games where maybe the rest of the team hasn't. It'll really be up to seeing how the supporting cast behind him plays and what sort of service he gets.
They've only scored 9 all season. Keith Jackson's had 6 of them. Connor Earley 1. And the other goals from Michael Perry in round 1 and Jared Tanini own goal. So goals have been a real issue for the Riverina Rhinos. For Canberra FC, it's been at the other end that's been the issue. 26 conceded this season, only 11 conceded the whole of last year. Defensively, they've been a little bit shaky. Yeah,
not wrong. A league-leading backline last year really set the tone for them and allowed them to play quite freely. And obviously, they had Thomas James up front last year, which changes things a little. But they've really struggled at that end this year, and that's where a lot of their troubles have come.
Looking quite lonely on the bench with Gabriel Abdallah is the only substitute, Dallas Torreson. Pointless asking where he's going to cover because he'll have to cover everything.
Yeah, might have a couple of roles to play today. Interesting to see what change Gabby makes. Hopefully no injuries that he has to come on for, but we'll have to wait and see.
He'll be hoping he doesn't have to come on in goal, I'm sure. It's almost ready to get us underway here. Luke Santolin over the ball. Waiting to start the match. The referee is Alex McConaughey, Cameron Shelton and Brad McGrath, his assistants. The Rhinos looking to upset the apple cart in a season in which Canberra FC have certainly struggled to live up to last season's quality. You'd think today, Dave, that it's a tough ask for the Rhinos against Canberra FC side, as we said. It's almost do or die.
Yeah, Canberra FC will be, really up for this task, playing at home as well, although it's maybe not the fortress that it has been in some years. The Rhinos, travelling only with 12 players, it's a big trip up here. It may well be a case of just their legs getting away from them. And Canberra FC just having the numbers, the fitness and the willpower to get over the top of them today.
Early touch for Ian Graham. Subasic plays it forward. Colbertaldo. And here's Keith Jackson trying his luck from range. Gerbischer's blocking. Sliding in from this Joe Priest. Just studs a little bit there on Lucas Maragis.
Just an early mark. Leaving there, setting the tone.
Colbertaldo finds Keir. Runner outside him is Maragis. Balac has made the run into the centre forward position. A good piece of defensive covering from Musitano, the fullback, in the first set piece of the afternoon, which Lucas Maragis will take. Plenty of red shirts forward. Subasic jogging to the far post. Balac has gone near post. Keir's arriving in the centre circle, in the centre of the area. Luke Pandolfo's clearance finds Jackson. He's got away from the first challenge, but Gerbischer was there. Graham finds Lamb. Here's Waters. And Musitano gets rid once more. Good start from Canberra FC.
Yeah, looking lively earlier us, forcing the runners back. Lucas Maragis looks good down this left-hand side with a couple of early forays. If Canberra FC can get him into the game and get him on the ball a lot, then he'll be dangerous.
Donadell in the challenge with Keir, then he wins it off of Waters. Early hooks it forwards. Waters away from Musitano. Pace to get away from Mulrooney Castellano as well. Runners on the back foot. Here's Waters. Delivery in towards the far post. No one in a red shirt there, though. Eluded the touch of Adrian Montagna in goal, and the Rhinos haven't got out the blocks yet.
No, they've been a little bit slow to start. Not really a lot to do outside of their own half. Getting pinned back early by Canberra FC. Good work from Matt Waters there to get to the byline, but just lacking someone on the end of it. What probably would have ended up as a reasonably easy finish if someone had been there.
Early stages in the NPL, of course. Round 15. Won by Santolin. Moragas under pressure, but the whistle goes for a foul on Matt Gerbisher. Alex McConaughey has had an interesting few weeks in terms of being in charge. He was the man in charge of McKellar last week, having to abandon the match after 17 minutes. And best wishes for a swift recovery for Christian Predazina.
It's tough to see, especially for a young player. Moving across from Canberra FC to Belconnen to get some first-grade football, and finally making it and then having a setback like that's tough. So best wishes for him to make a full recovery and hopefully see him back out there soon.
Waters hooks that over the top, covering on the far side by Hudson Fanani. Could be a busy day for Rhinos midfielder Jack Moon. DJ Half Moon, they call him. He's got a gig tonight in Griffith, which most of the boys are going to, by all accounts. As Keir strikes one from distance.
Jack Moon by day, Half Moon by night. Russ, we'll have to find out tomorrow how the gig goes.
I'm sure the boys will enjoy themselves. Here's Waters.
Maybe we should have booked a Riverina trip this season.
Didn't realise they had the multi-talented cast list. We did get an invite, Dave, beforehand, so...
Is there space on the bus?
to get down to Griffith? Maybe. You won't be allowed to go, though, I wouldn't imagine. Just goes to show that these guys are all amateur players. And they do have day jobs, or night jobs in this case, outside of their footballing commitments. There's Jackson looking to swing it into the area. Graham's there. Waters, good challenge from Donadell. Keir, beaten to it by Mulroney Castellano. Jackson's ball in. Priest challenges Gerbisher, but steps away. Decent ball out as well, but it's going to be picked off by Fanani. Tried to find Moon. Energetic start by Joe Priest. And the Rhinos need their midfielder to be on top form.
Yeah, he's one of their most important players. We saw last year a couple of times just how valuable he is to them. Almost single-handedly won them a game at McKellar against Belconnen United. So if he's on today, then that'll be a big boost for the Rhinos and something they'll definitely need if they're going to challenge Canberra FC.
That was him in the middle of the park. Here's Lamb for Canberra FC. Bit of space for you, Greenwich. But Waters and Moragas hadn't made the run, and that's going to roll out of play. Big match for Canberra FC next week as well. Tigers FC away at Nijong. If they can't win the league, they'd like nothing more than to stick a oar in the spikes of the Tigers, who have a big week themselves. Wednesday night, FFA Cup football here at the Deakin Stadium against Hume City.
Yeah, big game, that one. Hopefully you see a lot of the Canberra football community turn up to support a local side up against a Victorian NPL side who by all accounts will be very tough to beat on the night. But as you mentioned, big couple of weeks coming up for Tigers. They've got this weekend off and then FFA Cup and then obviously games against Canberra FC, game in there against Canberra Olympic to finish the season. I think Gungahlin too.
Greenwich into the penalty. It might fall for him on his left foot. Waltzed his way through without really touching the football. Musatano sends it away. Nicely taken in by Jackson. Unfortunately treads on the ball. FC looking to take advantage of that. Here's Colbertaldo. Sold Keir short. Should be an FC ball and is. Yeah, Hume City sitting 5th before the weekend. Joint on 37 points. Joint 4th place as well, looking to get into the top 4 in Victoria. A side packed with former A-League talents as well, about 5 or 6 of them in there as well. So it'll be a real test for Gabby Wilk and his team. Before that, they'll be fortunate that they've got this week off in terms of a bye. It's fallen quite nicely for them. Yeah,
it's worked out really well for them. As you say, it'll be tough, but it's the sort of stage that those guys thrive on. Coming up against sides like that. Obviously, some people will have seen in the news their pre-season experience in Argentina, which I have no doubt will help them on the big stage on Wednesday night.
Cup football's all about upsets as well. Coomera, I think it's fair to say, are the underdogs for that one.
I think there's a word for that. Can't.
Cup set.
I think that's it.
Talking of underdogs, the Rhinos are the underdogs here, but at the moment, no goals. It's Gerbish at the back. Colbertaldo finds Subasic. Gerbish once more. Graham. You wouldn't think there'll be a sense of panic in this Canberra FC team. As long as the game goes on, though, and it stays goalless, they'll feel they need to score.
Yeah, they might. You might see them get a bit more nervous, I guess, as the game wears on. If the Rhinos can keep them scoreless, as you mentioned, it's essentially a must-win game for Canberra FC, particularly depending on what happens over at McKellar.
Here's Donadell looking to find Jackson. Again, Gerbish was in the way. Waters, who started lively, taking on Musitano, who stands strong in the tackle. Has to help out Priest. Here's Mulrooney Castellano. Sent it forward. Chases on for Santalin, but Graham was comfortable in possession. Ryan Keir in midfield. Perhaps should have scored a couple of goals against Belconnen a couple of weeks ago in the 2-1 loss. Here's Colbertaldo. Now Jordan Lamb trying to find Barach. On the turn, gets his shot away, but no power to test Montagna.
Yeah, a nice chance there. Some good work there from Daniel Colbertaldo, looking up well, setting Jordan Lamb free down that right side. Maybe just not quite enough power on Daniel Barach's shot on the turn, but certainly good signs early.
Jackson battling with Graham and winning the free kick. It's been a breath of fresh air for this Rhinos team, hasn't he, Keith Jackson, the Canadian?
He looks lively when he gets on the ball, even early here. You know, he's ready to turn and just sort of drive rather than looking to play back, and I think that'll be really important for them today.
6 goals in his last 7 games. Here's Mulrooney Castellano looking to get into the penalty area here and find Jackson. The FC defend well. Ugrinic. Moragis. Ugrinic again. Now Ryan Keir. Colbertaldo. Lamb out wide. Loses out to Donadell, and a little bit of a misunderstanding between himself and Luke Santalins presented FC with an opportunity hit. Barach into the penalty area. Looks for Waters. And that little movement really summed up Canberra FC's season. There was an opportunity there, but really they didn't look confident enough to take it.
It's the end product that's really been lacking for them, I guess. They've got plenty of talent, plenty of guys who can make a difference going forward, but just the final pass or the final shot has not been there for them this season in a way that we're not used to seeing.
26 goals conceded, 21-4, a -5 goal difference, very much unlike the men from Deakin. Moragis with the corner. The left foot in swinger. Good one too towards the far post. Real chance here for Subasic. Somehow it's off the line, but it's not at the second attempt. And it's been turned in. I think maybe Ryan Keir got the final touch. Either way, Canberra FC are in front.
Yeah, a little bit of a scrappy one there. The Rhinos had a few swings to clear it, but the ball stayed in there, and that's a big problem as a defence if you can't get the ball out of the area. Good break for Canberra FC. Ryan Keir got on the score sheet last week with the opener, and might be him again now, and that's a big start.
Well, Subasic got the first touch and then swung something at it towards the line. I think it was blocked, and Ryan Keir was on hand to nudge it home. We said he should have perhaps scored a couple against Belconnen. He got the opener against Woden Western in much the same time frame last week. And that one finished 3-3. We're hoping that they defend a bit better than that this week.
Wouldn't mind 6 goals.
Be good, wouldn't it, for the neutral point of view? But it's a settler, that one for FC. Graham finds Lamb. It's Mulrooney Castellano's touch. Musitano tried to force it past Moragis, but he was in the way. Now here's Barach. Ugrinic wants the run. Good piece of defending from Conor Early, the Irish international. On loan from Dunbar Rovers till the end of the season. He's looked lively and a decent footballer when we've seen him for the Rhinos as well.
Yeah, he's been another good pickup for the Rhinos. Like we said, they've had a couple of guys who've really sort of lifted them during the season. That's shown in some improved form in recent weeks, but unfortunately maybe a little bit of too little too late situation.
Here's Barach. Might line one up here, Barach. He finds Maragis, who's got him behind. The opportunity for FC again, but it's snuffed out by Luke Pandolfo coming across to defend for the Rhinos at the expense of another corner.
They're doing a bit of damage down the flanks now, Canberra FC, finding some gaps with which to expose the visitors. Lucas Maragis doing a bit on this side and Jordan Lamb down on the far wing, and it's proving fruitful for them so far.
Another set piece for Maragis from the near side. Another decent delivery as well. Subasic was in there once more. It's going to be picked up by Connor Early. Just a switch play to this near side to Santolin, who stumbles. Maragis finds Keir. Heavy touch, though, from Ryan Keir. Or maybe the Rhinos on the break. With Donadell's ball over the top, and Jackson has stolen a march here on Daniel Subasic. Keith Jackson, opportunity, but snuffed out at the other end by Daniel Subasic. Still going, Jackson. Good defending from the Canberra FC centre-back. Opened up for a moment for Jackson.
It's somewhere where Canberra FC struggled last week a little bit, maybe in transition with some of those moments. They did well to shut down Jackson there, but you can see the danger posed when he's able to get out on the break and with a little bit of space to move in.
Santolin nods it down to Mulrooney Castellano. Santolin wants it back. Can he deliver something into the penalty? A decent-looking ball. Might fall here for Priest, who hits one, and it's crashed back off the bar with Sam Brown beaten. Real chance for the Rhinos and unfortunate for Priest.
That's a big chance there. It didn't really look like a lot was on. It was a good initial ball in. It's one of those ones that just lands perfectly for someone to hit it. A really good strike from Joe Priest. Would have been some goal if it had gone in, but as it happens, it strikes the bar, and now Canberra FC can go the other way.
Barach finding Waters. Some good feet from Daniel Barach. Waters swings it into the area. Might fall for Lamb. The ricochet finds Musitano. Nice open field to this one. Jackson wants it early. Very isolated, though, the forward. And he's still got the ball, though, and does well to win the free kick off Subasic. The game at Solomad earlier in the season, Dave. Canberra FC won 3-0. Ryan Keir opened the scoring on that occasion. A brace from Daniel Barach as well. So, case of deja vu, perhaps, at the moment.
I mean, he's proven himself handy at opening the scoring in games so far this season when he does pop up and score. But yeah, that was a composed performance from Canberra FC, one of the better ones we saw from them through the first half of the campaign. And I think Luke Rooster would be happy with a similar result today.
All the goals that Ryan Keir scored this season have been important. The opener against the Rhinos, the opener in the 3-0 draw last week, a goal and a 1-0 draw here with the Tigers as well. They're defending this one first, though. Early went for goal. Didn't get it right, though. It's been a good response, though, for the Rhinos, and that shot from Priest, which clattered back off the bar, just shows how unlucky they've been this season in some respects. Yeah,
that's it. You only ever see the final scoreline, really. You never necessarily know how close they do occasionally come. They've had some really strong performances, games where they have been unlucky with individual shots. Lovely touch from Barach to get away here. Real opportunity to pull it back for two, and Ugrinic takes the chance on a plate from Barach. One end to the other. That's slick football from FC. They've doubled their lead. Yeah, it's brutal for the Rhinos. You know, we saw them go so close, and then a couple of minutes later, Canberra FC down the other end. Like you said, slick football there. That's what they've been missing this year. Really nice setup from Daniel Barach and a good finish from Jason Ugrinic. 2-0 advantage Canberra FC. Is the red machine starting to purr at the right time of the season? You wouldn't put it past them getting into the top four and making a push at it, would you? No, it's the sort of thing, you know, that you've seen them do in past years, is really get up for finals. So it'll be interesting to see if that is something that they can do, sneak into the top four and make an impact. Perfect start to this one. 2 goals in the opening 20 minutes. Ryan Keir and Jason Ugrinic. And the vagaries of football summed up in the space of a few minutes. Priest hits the bar when it could have been 1-1. Canberra FC 2-0 up and looking comfortable now. They want to push on from here, though, because goal difference might have something to play
towards the end of the season, and they'll feel that they can pick up a few more now.
Yeah, goal difference is something they're struggling with, as you said before this game. -5, I think it was. Now, obviously, that comes back to 3, but you'd expect to see them really push on and look to go with this one.
Keir wins a header. Almost landed up here for you to have a volley back, Dave.
That would have been a sight to behold.
The Tasmanian Tiger, they call you, don't they?
It's news to me. Or is that because it's extinct?
Like your ability?
Has to be there to begin with, I think, or else before it can be extinct.
Bit harsh, I thought. Subasic at the back for FC. Sam Brown hasn't had much to do in the first 20 minutes, but would have been a relieved man when that shot came off the bar. He'll tell you he had it covered. Pandolfo picked up the long ball, brings down Colbertaldo. Referee plays an advantage here. Real opportunity for Jason Ugrinich on that left foot. He goes for the sneaky little chip. Montagna was off his line, didn't get enough elevation though. And there's a clash in midfield, and I think, is it Pandolfo who's still down? Gabriel Abdallah can't afford to be losing a player this early in the piece, with only one on the bench.
Looks like he's getting up. He might be all right there. Hopefully nothing serious.
No news from McKellar at the moment. No goals between Balcon and Olympic. In the early stages of that one as well. As we mentioned, next week the Rhinos are in town again. They play Gungahlin United. Canberra FC travel to Nijong on Sunday. FC's other matches, a rearranged game against Tuggeranong United on a Wednesday night, the 7th of August, and then they finish with Gungahlin at home here. So if they can win this one and the Tuggeranong one, and get something out of the other two, they might be in a good position.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a real opportunity for them to make a drive into finals. They're not totally out of it yet. If this result stands, it'll be a big boost for them, particularly depending on what happens elsewhere this weekend. And then those last couple of rounds, there's some really big games that are going to play a big role in deciding just how the top 4 shapes up.
Last round of the season, round 18, sees Canberra FC at home to Gungahlin, and of course Canberra Olympic at home to Tigers. Both going to have huge impacts on the top 4.
Yeah, a big weekend of football, that one. Depending on the results over the next few weeks, that clash at O'Connor could be close to a title decider, as we saw there last season.
Colbertaldo puts Ugrinich through, but the flag goes up. Daniel Colbertaldo's asking for the free kick. Isaac Donadell was all over him. It was Jacob Donadell who was sent off in stoppage time last week. In the 2-0 loss at home to the Tigers. Flicked on by Santalin. Brown lifts it forwards. Priest wins it. Haven't been able to get Jack Moon into the game at all on that left-hand side at the moment, have they?
No, they really haven't done a lot down that far side as yet. So it'll be interesting to see if they can start to look to bring him into the game and maybe just stretch the Canberra FC back 4 a little bit, which is something they haven't done just yet.
They've got a free kick here. Jason Ugrinich pinged for handball. Close to halfway. And Connor Early playing in the central defence role this afternoon. Swings it towards the wide areas where Mulroney Castellano is. He's done well to get away from Maragis. But Colbertaldo's come back to win it back. Waters. Colbertaldo. Waters. Keir. Nicely worked out by those in the red shirts. Ugrinich. Good move this. Is Barach. Maragis has made the run inside him. Barach goes the long way round. Picks a ball out onto the far post. Here's Jordan Lamb, and it was the intervention at the back from Moon after another good move forward.
Yeah, some really slick passing to get out of that back corner just down to our right through the midfield and then release down the left. Daniel Colbertado did really well to win the ball and then play out, and some good link up and nearly an end product. You know, Jordan Lamb just getting caught on the ball, but good signs for Canberra FC.
Is Waters looking to combine with Lamb. Early sends that up towards Jackson, who's on his own. Subasic takes no chances. Absolutely no winds here today. Perfect afternoon for football in the nation's capital. NPL 2 pushing towards a close as well. Some big matches over the next 2 weeks in that, and we're no nearer to knowing who's going to win that competition either. Yeah,
a couple of big weeks coming up there. Canberra White Eagles sitting up the top just ahead of O'Connor and ANU. O'Connor maybe a surprise loss last week to Queanbeyan City has hurt them a little bit, but White Eagles play City themselves this week, and Queanbeyan are charging for the last top 4 spot. So interesting to see how that one plays out over the next few weeks.
Of course, no promotion from that division this year, but there will be next year, and one of those sides will be gracing the top flight of Canberra football. Once more in some cages. They've all had a spell up in the top flight at some stage or another. Here's your Greenwich. Barach, nice touch, finds Waters on the left foot, drives it a goal, it's 3-0. Drills it through Matthew Waters. Perhaps Montagny was unsighted, but it's another goal for FC, and they are purring.
Yeah, they're looking really strong. Matty Waters just took some time to shift onto his left and pick his spot, and we almost had the perfect angle to see that it was going to make it through that crowd of bodies. Keeper probably a little lucky to be unsighted to some degree, but that's just reward for a strong patch of really good play.
3 in the first 25 minutes. FC looking strong. It's been unfortunate for the Rhinos, who probably aren't 3 goals worse off at this stage, but it's clinical from the home side at the moment.
It's what we haven't seen this year. Is this sort of ruthless edge from the reigning champs. So maybe it is the tide's turning a little bit for them, and the Rhinos are unfortunately on the wrong end of it this weekend.
Lamb finds Kier. Barach. Waters through the middle again. Eased off it this time by Pandolfo. Touch in field. Nicely done from Donadel to Priest. He's battling again with Barach. Daniel Barach looks in the mood today. Good little touches and knocking the ball around. Hasn't got himself on the score sheet yet, but he's been integral in the build-up to most of what's happened so far.
Must be that lovely Christmas in July sweater we saw him walk into the ground with, I think, Russ.
Outstanding jumper, wasn't it? Don't think he's wearing it under the shirt, as I suggested. Ball sent forward. Gerbischer wins it. It's Sam Brown. He's been a virtual spectator so far. Hasn't had a lot to do, the goalkeeper. Here's Graham. Football's a sport that's such fine margins, Dave. We don't want to hark back to it too often, but that shot that comes off the bar from Priest, if it goes in, it's 1-1. Maybe there's some nerves at FC, maybe it's a little bit different, but as it is, they've gone up the other end, scored twice, and they're looking complete and utter control of this one at the moment.
I was just thinking very similarly. It is a game that can ebb and flow so much, and at 1-1, it's a totally different landscape for Canberra FC. As it is, though, now 3-0 up, like you say, firmly in control and in a position to go push forward and look for more goals.
Kier bundles through Santolin. A free kick given by Alex McConaughey. We'll be hoping he has a quiet afternoon today. Santolin. Is Ely. Looks for Fanani, who's made the run forwards. Haven't seen too much of him as an attacking force too much this afternoon so far. Moon. Ball in is easily cut out by Gerbischer. Ryan Keir's got the run of midfield at the moment, and Lucas Maragis has had plenty of Deakin Stadium to run into. Showed a fair bit of that, though, to Priest, who comes across. Wants a throw.
Yeah, I think he wanted that one.
Very vociferous in his outburst. Gerbischer. Switch of play. Finds Jordan Lamb all alone on the far side. He's got Moon for company now. Here's Waters. Graham. Keir. Just different confidence running through this Canberra FC side at the moment. Great ball from Gerbischer. And Lamb is beaten to it by Moon.
Very, very different display and very different look and feel to what we saw at McKellar Park a couple of weeks ago. Russ, what we're seeing today.
Had their chances in that game, didn't they? In the early stages, and didn't take them, and that's the difference this afternoon, is that everything that they've hit has pretty much ended up in the net. That day, Ryan Keir could have had a hat-trick by half-time.
Could have been Ryan Keir. 3, Belconnen United 2, with how many chances he had. But, yeah, they're taking them today, and that really is the big difference.
Lamb. Gerbischer. To lift it over the top towards where Maragis is. And put Dolphins across. They're still quite bullish here at Deakin Stadium. There was a few comments beforehand that if they did get in the 4, they're fairly confident that they can retain this trophy. And why wouldn't they be?
That's it, you know, if they're going to play like this, then why not? If the playing group is confident still, then that's a really big sign, a really big positive for the club, that they can go on and do something. So I certainly think if they do make the 4, they can rattle a few cages. They're going to have to take the long route, finishing 3rd or 4th, with the gap to 1st and 2nd now, but it's the sort of thing that you'd expect.
7 other teams will obviously have a say about that as well. Lamb finds Graham. Look at the results that they have had against the top sides this year. They were quite easily dismantled here in the first game of the season by Canberra Olympic, but they beat them in the Cup 1-0, and they drew here with the Tigers as well. So the results against the top 2 have been reasonable. Obviously, they were given a bit of a touch-up by the Gungana at the AIS on that occasion. Probably the worst we've seen them play in a number of years.
We saw them beat Olympic 2-0 in that rescheduled game at Woden Park. You know, they were firmly in control of that game. Jason Greenwich scoring early, and then a penalty to Daniel Colbertado at the end. So, yeah, not too shabby, I guess, against the top sides, bar maybe 1 or 2 games.
And that'll be why their confidence is probably so high, that they'll feel that anyone on their day can get a result in that top 4. We've been mentioning it quite a lot this season. You think whoever gets in that 4 will fancy their chances of winning the grand final. Everyone's fairly evenly matched this season. Tigers, of course, leading the pack. And they're winning games week on week.
Mark Shields has done really well there at Tigers, just kind of step up in the absence of Nick Abbott since his move over to Thailand. It'll be interesting to see, you know, how that factors into them in finals. Obviously losing, you know, their number 9, and how Shieldsy can sort of stand up, and what Gabby Wilk does to change that side and the way they attack.
Inclusion of Nahuel Guerrero from Argentina's giving them another dimension as well. Here's Maragis swinging it across. Great ball in, and Barach, I think, tried to control it rather than hit it first time. And in the end, it was easy for Montagna. Great ball in, though, from Lucas Maragis.
Almost looked like Barrack wasn't quite expecting to make it through, maybe taken a little bit by surprise by the fact that it did get to him, but just another really good move down this left-hand side from Canberra FC.
Colbertado from Maragis. Waters, beaten to it by Priest. Every loose ball at the moment has been snapped up by a red shirt. Subasic to Lamb. Moon's there. He's got away from Jordan Lamb here, Jack Moon, and off he goes. Past Graham as well. Subasic brings it back for FC. Maragis. Colbertaldo. Sends Lamb wide. Waters. Graham. Complete control of the match for Luca Oide's team. Keir, lovely ball over the top. Looking for Lamb. Can he load something into the penalty area? Massive air swing from Jordan Lamb. Didn't have any connection with it whatsoever.
It's not one that he's going to want to watch back. But just moving back a few steps, as you mentioned, just in complete control, the hosts. They've got the time that they need the time that they want to move the ball around, the Rhinos are kind of pinned back in their own half and not pressing a whole lot, whether they're trying to conserve some energy. But yeah, just getting really where they want and how they want at the moment.
That one might make the Capital Football bloopers reel for the end of season presentation day. Musatana with a throw. Up for Jackson. Moragas eases him off the ball. Good Bishop. Graham. Waters. Mulrooney Castellano with the toe in. Now he's putting the pressure on Matty Gerbisher as well. The experience of the Canberra FC centre-back wins that duel. Graham. Another one for Lamb to chase. Another one for Fanani to defend. And Hudson Fanani does well to earn the free kick. Still nothing from McKellar.
Goalless over at McKellar still, which could be an interesting result if it stays like that over there.
Hypothetically speaking, a draw would put Belconnen on 17 points. The goal difference of +1. Win for Canberra FC on 17, and it will put them on 17 on -2. Unless they add to their tally, of course. Not only that, would be a big blow in Canberra Olympics' hopes.
I think Tigers would be happy with a draw over there, keep the gap at 4 points with no game in hand after today for Canberra Olympic.
Well, this is their game in hand today, isn't it? If they get a win today, they'll be on 30 points. Their goal difference will be almost identical to the Tigers. Sets up a grandstand finale. Here's Keir. I mean, potentially Tigers and Olympic could play each other 3 times in 4 weeks at the end of the season.
We saw it last year, obviously, with...
You grenade from range, but drifting away from goal. Montani had it covered. Sorry, Dave.
Saw it obviously last year with Canberra FC and Canberra Olympic. We had a premiership decider on the final day of the season down at O'Connor. Then we saw Olympic win 5-3, I think it was, in the qualifying final, and then face off again in the grand final where FC prevailed 2-1.
It's a good point. We could potentially have a season title decider at O'Connor and Close for the 2nd season running. Was that your doing on the fixtures, Dave? Well done.
I don't seek praise.
Just finds you out. Here's Barach. Lamb outside him. Waters. Lamb goes down off the ball. Good win from Sivicic. Here's Calbertaldo. On a serious note, though, it's great that for local football that could possibly come to pass. That's a free kick. John Lamb brought down. Shrill blast on the whistle from Alex McConaughey. He wants a quick word with Isaac Donadell, I think. But so many big games coming up between now and the end of the season. Not least Canberra FC playing Tigers next week, then Gungahlin play the Tigers as well.
As we talk about that potential decider on the final day, there's a lot of football to be played between now and then, and Tigers have 3 massive games to finish off the season, as you mentioned, against Canberra FC, Gungahlin and Canberra Olympic is their run home.
Did Gungahlin play Olympic as well? Is that in the mix still?
No, they've played twice. Canberra Olympic beat them 2-0 at O'Connor, and then obviously the game we're at the other week, the 7-2 at the AIS, which I don't think anyone saw coming.
Here's Jackson. Waters gets his foot in. Go to Bishop. Moragas around the corner. They ask for handball. Here's Donadell the Priest. Moons peeled away to the left. Fanani offers the overlap. Priest back inside. Bit of keep ball from the Rhinos. Ely looks for Santolin, but that's asking a lot for Luke Santolin. WNPL action tomorrow. Live from O'Connor Enclosed. It's Canberra Olympic versus Belconnen United, and Belconnen could take another major step towards the Premiership. It might not be done tomorrow, but could possibly be done
Yeah,
depending on results.
They're getting close to sort of locking it in there with a couple of games in hand on Canberra FC at the moment, just due to some reschedules and the like.
Be a major surprise if they didn't seal that sooner rather than later. The women's Blue Devils.
Top four's taking shape over there. Gungahlin and the Canberra United Academy close to locking in third and fourth over the next couple of weeks as those four sides gear up for finals.
Make sure you tune into Bar TV Sports tomorrow for that. 2 games in the NPL for you as well tomorrow. Gungahlin vs Western, Tuggeranong v Monero Panthers. All the games, of course, live and free on Bar TV. Corner for Canberra FC here. They're 3-0 up with 6 minutes to go to half-time and looking to extend their lead if they can, improve their goal difference still further. Maragris with the in-swinger. Montagna comes, good clutch from the goalkeeper and tries to get the Rhinos on the front foot quickly with Jackson. Santlin went through the middle, as did Jack Moon, but Jackson's pass picked neither one nor the other.
Probably just held on to it a bit long there. I think with runners going either side, allowed Canberra FC a bit of time to reset and get into their defensive positions.
Greenwich, his ball forwards. Santlin, Jackson. Couldn't quite pick up the knockdown. Here's Graham. Finds Maragis. Greenwich. Maragis continues to run forward into the area, goes down under the challenge. Penalty awarded. Alex McConaughey, no hesitation. Maragis was looking for the return pass, and it looked like it was a trip and a yellow card as well. And a chance for FC to extend their lead further.
Yeah, another good move there from Canberra FC and more great work from Lucas Mirage getting into the area there. Defender didn't seem to have a lot of eyes for the ball, and I guess moving Mirage just off as Montagna came out to collect and enough contact to warrant the decision there from Alex McConaughey. I
think it was Pandolfo who got the yellow card. It's definitely Daniel Colbertaldo who's lining up the spot kick. He did score in that 2-0 win over Canberra Olympic from the spot. The former Olympic midfielder, Colbertaldo, perhaps to put this one to bed before half-time. It's Daniel Colbertaldo, he's hit the crossbar. He went high, he had Montagna beaten, but it comes back off the woodwork.
Yeah, there's a big chance there for a fourth. Obviously, Daniel Colbertaldo will be disappointed with that. He had Montagna beaten. Might not have a material effect on the game, but I think they'll be disappointed with not getting another one in there before half-time and maybe paving the way for a big second half.
We did mention earlier, Dave, that the goal difference could prove to be important as we come into the closing stages of the season, so every goal might be crucial. And there's a gilt-edged opportunity passed up by Canberra FC. Here's Musitano. Last time we saw the woodwork struck, the opposition went up the end and scored.
See Rhinos follow the blueprint.
Well, they've got themselves a corner. First chance for them to send in a set piece of note. Connor Early, no doubt, will jog across to take this. Entrusted with the delivery. Plenty of dark green shirts on the edge of the box. Couple inside the 6-yard box as well. Flat delivery to the near post. Maragis heads it out for a corner on the other side. This one might suit Connor Early again. Need to make the most of these opportunities, the Rhinos. Santlin at the far post. Jackson and Donadell making the runs to the near post. It's in towards where Jackson was lurking. It's going to come from Musitano. Ball back in again, but it's too deep. And Gerbischer wins his team a throw right in the corner flag. We approach the final 3 minutes of the first half. After last week's disappointment, David, the 3-3 with Woden Western, I think Luca Oida will be pretty happy with what he's seen from his team in the first 45 minutes.
Yeah, it has really been a very different display. A lot more pointed, a lot more defined, I guess you'd say, in the way they've been playing. Probably a lot closer to how they've been wanting to play through this season. It's a display of where I guess a lot of people thought they could get to this season.
Kia finds Maragis. Have they got something up their sleeves before the end of the first half? It's Maragis. It's 3-on-3 at the moment. Barach has made the run through the middle. Here's Daniel Barach, real chance. And Montagne's lost it. Has been kicked out of his hands, says Alex McConaughey. Daniel Barach pleads his innocence.
I don't even think he intended to take it out. I think his foot just got caught in there and pulled the ball out, and I think that's what Daniel Barach's saying. But, you know, a good save done all to get down low there, Montagna, and potentially stop a fourth.
Nice incisive break again there from FC. They know all about the FFA Cup at this venue. They were here last year this time, playing Broadmeadow Magic. Took the lead, didn't they, through Thomas James, and then it all went a little bit south from there.
That was a very strong Broadmeadow team, you know, that travelled down here for that game. As you mentioned, it started really well for Canberra FC on the front foot. Thomas James put them ahead, and then I think the experience and some of the talent in that Broadmeadow side just took over.
Won't thank me for mentioning it, but there was a missed penalty in that one as well, wasn't there? Ian Graham for Canberra FC. The man on the ball right now. Blocked the rebound, didn't he, from Kofi Danning as well, I believe.
It's really not going to like you mentioning that.
Having a good game today, though. Here he is, finding Maragis. Ugrinich peels left. Flag went up, though, went a little bit too early. Jason Ugrinich. They've stretched the field at every opportunity so far, Canberra FC. Putting a fair bit of width on their game with Maragis on this near side and Jordan Lamb on the right-hand side. Cheap turnover. Colbertaldo. Ryan Keir bursting in. Real chance for four. Ryan Keir denied by Montagna. Must be a goal. Daniel Barach says thank you very much. Simple finish for him. It's 4-0 FC.
Another good move, a cheap turnover there in midfield. Canberra FC making the most of it. That'll be disappointing for Gabby Abdallah in stoppage time of this first half, really, when it looked like they might have just escaped a fourth. Adrian Montagna probably won't be too pleased with his defence there. You know, you should never allow a striker to be first to the rebound. But a really nice leave there to allow Ryan Keir to run through and have first crack, a good save, and Barach quickest to the rebound.
Keir probably should have scored, denied by Montagna. Barach really couldn't miss. Had time to take a touch. No one in a green shirt reacted. And Canberra FC, well, if they weren't Herman hosed at 3-0, they probably are from here. It would take an absolute miracle for the Rhinos to come back. The question is now, not will Canberra FC win, but by how many? Is there more in the locker in the second half? Masatano looks for Santolin. Jackson tries to help it around the corner. Oh, sorry, Donadell rather, tried to help it around the corner. Pandolfo, picked off by Waters. Maragis. Barach. Maragis again, playing stoppage time at the end of the first half. Colbertaldo gives it away. Colbertaldo wins it back. Graham. Sibicic. Clips it forwards. Barach just peeled away here. It's Daniel Barach inside the area. Still going, Barach. Opportunity for another, perhaps. Declines to pull the trigger. Someone will. It's Ugrinich. Straight at Montagna. It should have been 5.
They're almost toying with them there, Canberra FC. I'm not sure how they haven't scored there. There's some pretty lax defending from the Rhinos there in their own area, allowing, you know, Daniel Barach to just play with the ball.
Here they come again. Ugrinich skips past his marker. Jason Ugrinich. Is it 5 this time? It is. Jason Ugrinich scores again. And Canberra FC are all over the Rhinos. It's 5-0.
Well, this is a massive first half display from Canberra FC. Again, the Rhinos just lacking intensity in their own area and not shutting chances down. and too many Canberra FC players just able to get too much time on the ball to work with. That's it for the half, and that's a big showing.
The last kick of the first half. Canberra FC came into the match with a -5 goal difference. It's taken them 45 minutes to wipe that out. So at the moment, they are on course for a place in the top 4. It's more like the red machine we've seen over the years. At half-time at Deakin Stadium, Luca Oida's team in total control. Canberra FC 5, Riverina Rhinos 0. Welcome back to Deakin Stadium for the second half of this NPL match between Canberra FC and Riverina Rhinos. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator. Joining me for the second half, as he did for the first, is David Jordan from Capital Football. Dave, it's all done and dusted in terms of the points, you would think, unless something miraculous happens. Canberra FC 5-0 up. Where do the Rhinos go from here, in your opinion?
Yeah, it's not really what we expected in the first half. I guess we saw Canberra FC getting on top, but we certainly didn't see it happening to the tune of 5 goals, I don't think. For the Rhinos, it's going to be tough from here. They've only got one substitute. Just check whether or not they've made that sub at the break. It looks like they might have brought Dallas on. So it's interesting to see where this game goes, and it could get a bit nasty if Canberra FC continue where they left off.
Does look like they have introduced Dallas Torreson from the bench. We'll find out who that's for at the moment. Looking around the lineups, Canberra FC are as you were at half-time. 5 goals to the good. A couple for Jason Ugrinich, Matt Waters and Ryan Keir. Daniel Balach with the other 2 of those goals in stoppage time at the end of the first half. They haven't made that change just yet. Torreson still on the bench. So it's as you were from both teams. Graham sends it forward for Barach to chase. FC will be looking to add to their goal tally. Their goal difference now stands at 0, as we mentioned at the end of the first half. Is Waters looking to send that one left-footed towards Maragis. Let's run down these 2 sides. Brown in goal for FC, Lamb, Subasic, Gubisher, Maragis, Graham Keir, Colbertaldo, Waters, Barach and Ugrinich. For the Rhinos, Montagno in goal, Misitano, Pandolfo, Early, Fernani, Priest and Donadel, Moon, Mulrooney, Castellano, Santolin and Jackson. Aidan Brunskill on the bench for Canberra FC today, back after breaking his hand after falling off his bike earlier in the season.
It's dangerous riding your bike.
It's got a protective cast on the arm. It's a little plastic cast, which he was chatting with Alex McConaughey, the match referee, about beforehand. It's got a padding around it, so should be okay for him to take the field. If required, it'll only be for around 10 minutes, you'd think.
That's a big asset for Canberra FC if they can have him back, approaching the pointy end of the season. He's been very good for them over a number of years, so very important asset for Lucas' side.
His quality and his experience, of course. Free kick to the Rhinos. Playing for pride at the moment and looking for a way back on the scoreboard, if nothing else. Early goes short. And FC have it back with Colbertaldo. Barach has made the run. Early sends it forward. Should be easy for Brown to bring Ian Graham into play. Good first half, Ian Graham in the middle of the park. Controlling the tempo at the back, just in front of the back 4.
Yeah, the Canberra FC midfield did well. As you mentioned, they controlled it when they needed to, and they were happy to, wait to get the ball from the back 4. And then when they did get it, they linked up really well together. Daniel Colbertaldo particularly, with some good 1-2s and the like, and that really helped them moving forward and creating those chances that led to them being 5-0 up at the break.
Subasic happy to go back to Brown. Pre-match here today was girls NPL under 14s. Canberra 15s rather. Canberra FC beat Canberra United 2-1. It was United under 14s, is that right, Dave?
Yeah, that's the academy play-up.
Here's Waters. Good to see the young girls getting their chance on Deakin Stadium and putting a good performance.
Late goal in that one too. Celebrations from the Canberra FC girls.
Bit of a heartbreaker for those from the academy. It's Colbertaldo. Ugrinich, Colbertaldo again. Lamb. Touch was a little heavy. He allowed Fernani to come in. And we're going to see the first change of the afternoon. It might be 2 changes for FC, it seems. Thomas Milicevic is about to join the fray. Matt Gerbischer coming off. And Dom Gianpaolo coming on as well for Matt Waters. So a bit of a reshuffle.
Tom and Dom. It's a little duo coming on there. A bit of a chance now, 5 goals up for Lugujta to maybe experiment, to give some run to some guys who haven't played as much this season. And I guess a chance to work out what's best, with a couple of big games coming up to finish the regular season.
It'll be interesting to see how this works out in terms of formation, whether they'll go 3 at the back or whether Ian Graham just slots into that central defensive role. This is Colbertaldo. Milicevic, his first involvement. Graham is playing a lot deeper than he normally would. Subisic. Graham. 5 minutes gone in the second half. At half-time at McKellar, it was Belconnen 0, Canberra Olympic 0, closest that they came to a goal there. Stephen Dominici striking the post 7 minutes before half-time. Andrzej Janczewski picking up a yellow card as well, we understand. That's possibly his 4th of the season, so that might mean he'll miss next week's trip to Melrose.
Big drive, that one. He's been important for Olympic this season. We saw him, part of that taking a part of Canberra FC here in round 1 with 2 goals, and then he maybe went a bit quieter. He popped back up at Riverside last week with some important goals, but he's been very consistent for Frank Keisha through the middle of the park there, and one of the reasons they're playing so well this season.
I understand Daniel Sparrow is close to coming back to full fitness as well, so maybe he'll just drop in for Janczewski if he's not playing today. Understandably, the game in the second half a little bit slower in terms of tempo, with FC having done all the hard work in the first 45 minutes, if you just tuned in. All 5 goals in the first half, wiping out FC's -5 goal difference in 45 minutes of football. Here's a Rhinos ball in. Brown's missed it. Chance for Santolin. Moon got it up into the air. And Luke Santolin crossed with himself. Probably should have scored.
It's as good a chance as the Rhinos have had, pretty much. Luke Santolin with essentially a free header there, and you can tell he's disappointed with himself. He's just chatting with Daniel Subisic about it now, I think. But a big chance for the Rhinos to get one on the board there. But a good chance, and hopefully they can do a bit more of that creation throughout this second half.
Barachi Greenwich has made the run forwards. Ely's header. Switch of play. Looking for Jackson. Swings it into the area. Graham's got a foot on it. And Lamb pushes it out for a corner. We understand there's been a goal at McKellar. Canberra Olympic have taken the lead in the second half. Early stages of the second half, Dave.
49th minute. Looks like Lasse Ulrich just getting the last touch. Put the ball past Deacon Jewell there at McKellar Park. That's a big goal for Olympic to help draw close to Tigers FC up at the top of the table.
Canberra FC defending this corner. It's easy for Brown. So a big goal for Lasse Ulrich. Big goal for Canberra Olympic. At the moment, eases them to within 2 points of the Tigers, having played the same amount of matches. Still plenty of time to go in that one, of course. Plenty of time to go here as well. The big Danish defender doesn't get many for Olympic, does he? But that's a very important touch.
That man, Andrzej Janczewski, that we were just talking about, the header down from a corner, which we saw him be so dangerous from set pieces last week. Bringing the ball down there, and then Ulrich just getting the last touch to it to put it across the line.
A couple of the new generation of Canberra Olympic talents. Ely's ball forward, looks for Santolin. Flicks it on towards Jackson. Maragis was happy to find Brown. Can't return the compliments. See Dom Gianpaolo in the number 10 shirt there for Canberra FC. Bit of an enigma, isn't he, Dom Gianpaolo, the last couple of years? When he turns it on, he turns it on.
We've seen him play some really, really good football, for both Canberra FC and Canberra Olympic. can be a bit quieter, when he's not on the ball and not as involved. You don't see him as much, but like you said, when he has a good day and he is in good form, he's just a really, really good player to watch.
Solid header that from Hudson Fanani. Confident to win the ball ahead of Greenwich as the sun starts to dip. It's Graham. Keir. Graham once more. Gianpaolo. The room here for Milicevic. Greenwich. Milicevic has gone for the return. Lamb, though, is got there ahead of him. Milicevic inside. Good piece of defending from Early, though, to come across. Lamb. Colbertaldo. Tried the little back heel flick to find Barac. Milicevic looking to win it back. Colbertaldo as well, and it's a free kick for Canberra FC. Donadell, the man penalised. And with the sun right behind us, as we look at it, and you can tell by the shadows on the field, this might be a tricky one here for Montagna in goal.
Yeah, it's going to be coming in from an awkward angle for him, so it's interesting to see whether Canberra FC do go route one and try and have a ping at goal, or which Jason Greenwich, we've seen him score from this range, or whether they try and drop it in for, one of their taller boys to have a crack.
Well, normally I'd say he'll lift this towards the far post, but he is on a hat-trick, of course. He's got some tall timber to aim at. Ryan Keir's in there. There's an obvious target. Here is Greenwich, lifts it in towards Barac, who got away from his marker but couldn't get a touch on the ball. Decent delivery.
Yeah, just kind of appeared, I guess, there for Daniel Barac. A really nice flat ball in from Greenwich and another good chance.
Canberra FC leading 5-0. If you didn't hear, Belconnen 0, Canberra Olympic 1. Lassie Ulrich's goal in the 48th minute. As Olympic in front. Musitano's flick on. Going to get a second opportunity. He's asking a fair bit of Jackson to chase. Willing runner though, Keith Jackson, and he put Brown under a fair bit of pressure. And he did well, the goalkeeper. Gianpaolo. Sloppy ball, but wins it back in midfield. And a nice little turn. Ryan Keir doesn't help him out very much with the return pass. See a lot of it these days, Dave, is the goalkeepers are really comfortable with their feet, and Sam Brown is definitely one. Yeah,
it used to be, a worrying sign, seeing an attacker close down, a goalkeeper, but some of the boys these days are a lot better suited to dealing with it and, using the ball at their feet. Speaking down to Tom Milicevic from up here, as he was warming up Brown ahead of the game, and he said, Sam's always been one of the best keepers that he's seen with his feet, and that's an example of it there, just being calm under pressure as he's chased down and getting the ball out of harm's way.
Picking the right option and given the option by Ian Graham. Runners have started the second half reasonably well. Tightened up their defensive frailties, but here's Gianpaolo. Greenwich has gone through the middle and he's offside. A little hesitation from Gianpaolo before he released the ball through to Jason Greenwich. We'll be sensing that he can get a treble on the match ball today.
Yeah, it opened up there for him. The run maybe a little earlier, the ball a little late. Wasn't able to get through cleanly.
Jackson's ball in, and the effort from Moon. Swung a leg at it. Barac. Maragis, Barac. Ryan Keir cleverly lets it roll past him and then puts Lucas Maragis into space down the left flank. And he can't keep it in play. Since Keith Jackson signed for the club, he's found the target, like I said in the first half, 6 times in 7 games. It's a good return, but it's been a bit of a lonely one, hasn't it? They haven't really found anyone to support him with goals. They were talking about goals being an issue at the start of the season. They found a goal scorer, but they need someone else to step up to the plate.
He hasn't had a whole lot from his supporting cast, I guess you'd say. Individually, like you mentioned, he's been very good with his 6 goals.
Here's your Greenwich. Colbertaldo on the overlap. Fires one at goal. Wasn't too far away from Daniel Colbertaldo. He'll still be fuming that he missed the penalty in the first half.
That's where you see, I guess, the difference between these sides is the plethora of attacking options that Canberra FC have available. Jesse Greenwich laying it off for Daniel Colbertaldo is not a bad duo to have available up top, but as we mentioned for the Rhinos, it really has been Keith Jackson going his own, doing it well when he does, but doesn't have enough support.
Gianpaolo to Barac, lovely touch to Maragis. Greenwich has strayed just offside again. More news from McKellar, where we understand there's been another huge goal in the title race. It's now Belconnen United 1, Canberra Olympic 1, an equaliser for the Blue Devils. We'll bring you more news out in a second. Here's Barac for Colbertaldo. Flag goes up again against Daniel Colbertaldo. It's a huge goal at McKellar. Dave, more news?
It's a Michael Reeve own goal. Cross is coming from the right. Looks maybe Adrian Maycor for Belconnen, and it's just ricocheted off Michael Reeve and gone in, and that's a big goal for Belconnen United, who now stand to take a point from that game.
The irony of the former Blue Devil putting through his own net to bring Belconnen level. Changes the complexion at the top of the standings once again. Means Canberra Olympic will be on 28 points. Should it stay that way, 4 points behind the Tigers. Belconnen United will move to 17. Their goal difference of +1 would keep them just ahead of Canberra FC into 4th spot. But still, a goal here changes that as well.
Logjam for the 4 just kind of refuses to clear. It feels like it's been a number of weeks that it's been so tight there. 2 games tomorrow that can have an impact on it again, with Woden and Tuggeranong and Gungal and Monera all playing. But yeah, a really big goal there that changes the complexion of a few factors in the competition.
You could hear the cheer from Kuma for here, couldn't you? As the ball entered the net. Rhinos throw. So 1-1 at McKellar. Canberra FC here easing their way to 3 points. Would like to add a couple of goals if they can. Ideal opportunity for them to do so when they've got the Rhinos on the back foot. But here come the Rhinos. Ball through, the chase is on for Moon. Just a little challenge with Subasic. Has to be careful he doesn't injure that wrist before his DJing gig tonight.
Interesting use of the arm there while going for the ball, but Alex McConaughey just telling those two to settle down a little bit. So Daniel Subasic doing really well to cover that run though, and quieten down that chance.
Here's Lamb. Intelligent ball to Colbertaldo. Greenwich. Gianpaolo. Barac. Lamb. Can he deliver? Jordan Lamb into the area. Good piece of defending though in the end from the Rhinos. At the expense of yet another corner. And a few Rhinos boys beginning to feel the heat, I think. Dallas Torreson on the bench, ready to come on in defence, midfield or attack.
Probably just wants to hang out with someone.
Looks a bit lonely, doesn't he, out of shots on the bench on his own. If you've just tuned in, he is the only Rhinos substitute today. They can only field 12 due to injuries and unavailability. Morad ball in, won by Kier, and it wasn't too far away from being turned in by Jordan Lamb. It looked like it was going to be the hand of God for a moment.
I thought he was going to catch it for a moment the way he threw himself at it. Ryan Kier's doing an incredible job lately, finding himself in the right place at the right time. He's been on the end of a lot of chances in the last couple of weeks. And if he can keep doing that, and if he can start converting, that's going to be a big plus for Canberra FC in the next couple of weeks.
One of the vagaries of football in Canberra, someone like Ryan Kier, you know every week what he's going to do. A bit like Jack Green at Gungahlin United. You know he's going to be there for corners. You know he's good in the air, and yet for some reason teams can't stop him from connecting with them.
I've never understood how Jack Green can be so open at corners sometimes, considering how tall he is. He's one of those guys
Sneaks in, doesn't he?
That's hard to miss. But yeah, Ryan Kier doing a really good job of getting himself on the end of chances and helping create them too. And as I said, that's a big plus for these guys moving forward.
Here's Fanani. Good ball that, Van Priest. He's got runners either side. He tried to force it through to Jackson, but it came off the back of Gianpaolo. Now, there was 5 Rhinos committed to that attack, and it's left them a little bit open at the back. Gianpaolo, but it's a rather half-hearted effort to get it forward by FC. Kier with a bit more oomph finds Barac. Good run again from Maragis. He's been happy to do this all day, Lucas Maragis. Off he goes again. Opportunity here. Ugrinic. Is this the moment? Milicevic scoops it over the crossbar. Another good presentable opportunity for Canberra FC.
Some more great work from Lucas Maragis. He's been tireless down that left edge all day. Another great run. Good use of the ball, cutting inside his defender and laid it off for first Jason Ugrinic and then Tom Milicevic. I think Tom will be a bit disappointed with the end result there. Maybe snatched at it when he had a bit of time. He was afforded a little bit of time by the Rhinos back line. But again, Canberra FC just kind of getting where they want when they want.
Said it a number of times about Lucas Maragis this year, and I'll come back to that point in a second, because here's a chance for Dominic Gianpaolo in on goal. Ugrinic square, and for some reason Gianpaolo unselfishly tried to find Jason Ugrinic for the hat-trick. It didn't quite come off.
There were 2 covering defenders there. I'm not really sure that's the right choice from Dom Gianpaolo. It's an interesting one. He heads over to take this corner, but a really quick turnaround and big chance in transition there for Canberra FC as they continue to turn the screws.
Gianpaolo with the set piece. Ugrinic on the edge of the 6-yard box. Ryan Kier there too. Maragis in front of the goalkeeper. Swung in by Gianpaolo towards the far post, just too high for Subasic, and he won't keep it in. The point I was going to make about Lucas Maragis, Dave, was we've seen him play in the front three, and we've seen him play from the back on the left-hand side. He always seems to give you more options when he's playing further back than he does further forward.
Yeah, from what we've seen of him this year, he looks really good when he's able to get the ball deep and run with it. He hasn't looked as good, I guess, when he's a target, whether that's just his style of play, but a couple of times in recent weeks where he's sat deep against Belconnen, he was one of their most impactful players, picking up the ball in midfield and even further back, and making the defence work with him on it. It's interesting to see him used that way.
The same today. He's had a very good game at both ends of the field. Here he is challenging with Jackson, who's got the better of him on this occasion. Couldn't keep it in play, though. Well, he seems to be fairly adamant that he did. Assistant on the far side. Rin picking up slightly here. Not too much of it, though. Brown sends it forward towards Barac, and that's nicely done from Early. Montagna scooping it up for himself. Inadvertently, I believe. In front of the sparsely populated Ivan Bullen stand today. A few people in the VIP suite, though, enjoying the Kranskis and the roast spit. There's Colbertaldo, Gianpaolo. Huge amount of space for Lamb. Jordan Lamb on that left foot. Can he get the shot away? He can, and that's a decent stop by Montagna to push it over the bar for another corner.
It's great work there from Jordan Lamb, fooling his defender, cutting inside and having a shot. Probably a bit closer to Adrian Montagna than he would have liked, and it made the keeper's job maybe a little bit easier to get a hand to that. But, really good work. Canberra FC just stretching this Rhinos backline across the pitch and creating chances on both sides.
Looking for goal number 6 of the afternoon. Halfway through the second half. Closest they've come to adding to the 5 first-half goals. Missed penalty as well. Ball swung in, too high for Subasic. And the Rhinos want to come off McConaughey. Presented it to Subasic, who's tried his luck from range and it's just dipped over the crossbar. Nice assist that from Alex McConaughey.
Have my doubts that he'd claim it. If it went in, it was a strange ball for the Rhinos to play there, coming in from the right into the middle. It's what some people would term a coach killer. I doubt Gabriel Abdullah would have been too pleased if that had resulted in a goal.
I think Musitano was looking for the big switch and just got it all wrong in terms of the execution. It's all left to right at the moment. Here's Gianpaolo. Ghosts past. Donadel still going. Milicevic. Colbertaldo. Ryan Kier with the blast from distance. Not troubling Adrian Montagna from there. We're going to see a change. It's a return to action from Aidan Brunskill for Canberra FC. And Dallas Torreson is going to get his moments. Luke Santolin coming off for the Rhinos. And it looks like Jason Greenwich being taken off for Brunskill.
Yeah, interesting to see how Aiden Brunskill is deployed here. I doubt it will be in that number 9 role that he's replacing Jason Greenwich in. So interesting to see what Luke Ujdu has in mind as Aiden Brunskill looks like he's coming across to play it right back maybe. Dom Giampaolo shifting a little higher, it looks like. And interesting to see how Dallas Torrenson goes here in this final 20 minutes.
One by Ryan Keir. Looks like Giampaolo's going to partner Greenwich up front. Balach up front in 4 in midfields behind them. Jordan Lamb moving into that midfield role. And Brunskill back with heavily cut plastered arm, as you can see, been wrapped up in a bandage. Flicked on there is Brunskill. Mulroney Castellano with a header. Keir. Giampaolo slides it through. Balach, flag goes up against Balach. Ryan Keir was caught off the ball. Apology from Isaac Donadell. Are we coming back for that free kick, or are we going to play the offside? What's Alex McConaughey given here?
It is for the free kick. I think Canberra FC players are asking maybe for a slice of cheese to be produced. Looks like Tom Milicevic will be standing over this one maybe, but yeah, it is coming back for the free kick.
It was Keir who was caught late. Milicevic switch of play. Finds Maragis, invites him to run at Musitano. And Maragis accepts the invitation and Musitano stands up. 1-1 at McKellar between Belconnen and Canberra Olympic. Time ticking away there into the final 20 minutes here as well. Canberra FC leading Riverina Rhinos 5-0. All the goals in the first half and a missed penalty from Daniel Colbertaldo as well. Rhinos have had their moments. Joe Priest striking the crossbar at 1-0. Flicked on by Jackson. Torreson wanted it early, but he would have had 4 red shirts to contend with. So Mulroney Castellano leaves it for Musitano to take. Put Ely under pressure. It's a fairly agricultural thump forward from the Irishman. Completely misjudged by Subasic. And a chance here for the Rhinos. Jack Moon tried to lift it forward towards Jackson. He's fuming with himself with the quality of the pass. It
wasn't quite the ball that Keith Jackson needed there as he was streaming forward. You know, he got the break on Lucas Mirage there over that far side. Interesting to see what could have come of that if the delivery had been right. But as it stands, Canberra FC now get the chance to work back out.
Milicevic to Giampaolo. Lamb. Giampaolo again. Nice touch infield to Keir. Jackson's back chasing. Does his fair share of defensive work as well, Keith Jackson, as well as being the main goal threat.
Yeah, you know, we've seen him working back a lot, putting in quite a bit of effort, helping out where he can. And that's really important to have that work ethic from your number 9. You know, he's not just there to receive the ball and then score goals. He is willing to help out where needed.
Rhinos have definitely tightened up defensively this half. Making it as hard as they can for the home side to add to their tally. Ely finds Fanani. Milicevic rolled by Donadell. Milicevic again. Giampaolo tried to force it back. 2 players on Dom Giampaolo, and somehow he comes away with the ball. Still going, Dom Giampaolo. Lovely bit of skill and snapshots of the quality he's got, but there's a injury here, I think, to Joe Priest. Not sure what happened there. It
looked like when he slipped earlier, he might have just fallen in front of Dom Giampaolo, who's inadvertently collected, I think, maybe his neck or the back of his head with a boot. Completely accidental and just a bit of a coming together. So fingers crossed that he's all right to carry on.
Just a recap of what's happening while the trainer comes on. Well, I said the trainer, it's Gabriel Abdallah with the bottle of water, maybe. The first goal of the afternoon was scored after 12 minutes from Ryan Keir. Jason Ugric made it 2-0 5 minutes later. Matty Waters driving in the third after 25 minutes. Then 2 goals in stoppage time at the end of the half. Daniel Badac made it 4-0. Jason Ugric made it 5. Prior to that, Daniel Cobbletal's penalty had come back off the crossbar. It was all FC in the first half. Meanwhile, at McKellar Park, Belconnen United 1, Canberra Olympic 1. Lasse Ulrich giving Olympic the lead. An own goal by Michael Reeve, bringing Belconnen level. And probably making a little bit twitchy on the Olympic bench. A draw today would leave the Tigers 4 points clear. Same amount of games as well, so that opportunity to beat them in the final round, if it comes up to that far, it's out of their hands at the moment. Plenty of football between now and then, though. Anything could happen.
Leaves the Rhinos, I guess, only really needing to win 2 out of their last 3 if they do end up 4 points behind out of today's game, which takes a little bit of the pressure off them that might be on them, if Olympic can pull within 2.
Here's Maragis. Gianpaolo. Maragis. Jackson played it into his own teammate there. Here's Mulrooney Castellano, steps away from one challenge. Still has the ball stuck to his feet. Colbertaldo trying to dispossess the midfielder. A pirouette from Danny Colbertaldo. Keir. Good win from Mulrooney Castellano. And a little tug on the shirt there by Ryan Keir. Wins a free kick to the Rhinos. Perseverance there from the man with the longest name in the Premier League.
Have we checked that?
I can't think of anyone with a longer name than Alexander Mulrooney Castellano. If you're listening and you know, feel free to text one in.
Is this where I read your number out on air?
I'd rather you didn't. But you can email Dave at Capital Football. Free kick to the Rhinos. Plenty of shirts forward. And why not? Swung in towards the far post. There's Priest with a header. Saved at the first instance by Brown. And he had to be alert, the goalkeeper. Decent stop.
Yeah, good save there from Sam Brown. This last little kind of segment is really sort of summed up today. The Rhinos driving forward there just before. No real support when they needed it. Surrounded by red shirts. Did well to win a free kick, Mulrooney Castellano, but not a whole lot of support around him. And then a good chance, but they headed straight at Sam Brown, who manages to get it away.
They have a corner. Connor Early to take this. Tips it to the near post. Keir gets there to win it away, but the whistle had gone already. Alex McConaughey had seen something. Here's Brunskill. Colbertaldo. Graham. Milicevic. Brunskill's ball forwards. Dom Gianpaolo's enjoying this little cameo. Badac. Nibble at the heels there by Jack Moon. Here's Gianpaolo showing his quality with the feet again, and that ricochet is going to take it straight to Lamb. Montagna comes and wins. And needed to be alert, and that's a good bit of goalkeeping because the ricochet almost put Lamb through the middle.
Yeah, Jordan Lamb alert to that one, but Montagna even quicker off his mark. He did well to get out, challenge, win the ball and clear. But some danger signs here for the Rhinos heading into the final 15 minutes with a lot more fresh legs in red.
Badac ball in. Colbertaldo finds Gianpaolo. Uses his strength and his skill, but too much in the end. Mulrooney Castellano. Donadell. And Maragis is back to tidy up for Canberra FC. Milicevic. And Colbertaldo. Space for Brunskill as the Rhinos begin to tire a little. Milicevic. Lots gone through him since he's come on in the middle of the park. Graham. Jackson closing him down. Brown's raking ball forwards. Brunskill. Milicevic has to go back to Brown again. Good pressing this from the Rhinos to force Canberra FC backwards.
Yeah, it's been a good effort from them in this second half, holding Canberra FC goalless so far. You know, some improvements across the park. They've tightened up a little bit at the back. Maybe been a bit more physical and pressing in midfield to stop it getting towards that back four.
Could have been easy to roll over and crumble at this stage of the season when they're almost certainly to be relegated. And 5-0 down at half-time, and having seen a penalty missed as well, it would have been easy perhaps to ship another 4 or 5 in the second half, but they've done themselves a credit. And with 11 minutes to go, it's still only Canberra FC 5, Riverina Rhinos 0, everything in the first 45. Brunskill bends the ball round looking for Barach. Montagna though again, quick off his line. Epitome of the old sweeper keeper these days. Sivicic. Graham. Lamb. Colbertaldo, a little bit crowded in there, and he gets a free kick. FC electing to go quickly. Here's Milicevic. Brunskill. Donadell closes him down quickly. Barach. Lamb. But there's Early for the Rhinos. A free kick. As Barach lashes out at goal and might have got himself a yellow card here, Daniel Barach, for kicking the ball away, which is a bit of a silly thing to do. Well, I thought that's dissent by action. Was the card coming out, or has he put him in the bin? I thought the yellow card came out, and it did. And interestingly, kicking the ball away here, Dave. I thought that was a dissent action, and it was 10 minutes. I'm not sure. Barach gets himself a yellow card. Speaking of dissent, what's going on at McKellar?
Looks like Jay Kelly's been has been handed a temporary dismissal for dissent there after a Belconnen United free kick. So about 15 minutes to play. Frank Cash's men are going to play with 10 for 10 minutes of that.
Perhaps FC, yeah. A little bit lucky to be down to a bit full complement here. The confusion factor. I've seen players get 10 minutes for kicking the ball away this season. I'll have to ask the referee afterwards. Early knocks it back as out of your shot. Daniel Colbertaldo picks himself up. He was in a heap. Called a little bit late. Connie Early checking on the health of Daniel Colbertaldo before they continue to play. Maragis collects the through ball. Goes down under the challenge. Head in hands moments for Mulrooney Castellano. Soft one.
Yeah, it's been a physical battle in midfield, and there's probably been a bit more.
Well, Barach has broken the offside trap here. He's round Montagna. Real opportunity, must be another. And it's tucked in by Jordan Lamb. There was no one at home. And Jordan Lamb adds the 6th goal of the afternoon.
Well, that was just a little bit too easy there for Canberra FC once Daniel Barach got around Adrian Montagna. And there's a ball over the fence from the Rhinos. But, you know, just a break down the right edge from Canberra FC past Montagna, who we'd seen be so quick off his mark so far. Maybe misjudged that one. And Canberra FC add one in the second half.
The only question when he got round the goalkeeper was whether Jordan Lamb would stay on side to tap in the 6th goal of the afternoon. And he did. The 6th goal puts Canberra FC in a positive goal difference for the first time this season.
And that brings them level with Belconnen United on goal difference and points at the moment. So interesting to see who sits ahead, I believe, on goals scored. I think is how the table works.
That is correct. I couldn't tell you right about now. If that's level, is it on alphabetical order? If so, Canberra FC will be changing their name to AFC Canberra.
I think it's least wickets lost. That's what we go by
Most
for the table.
boundaries hit. probably on yellow cards or something like that, is it? It's Gianpaolo looking to make all of that redundant by adding another. Looks for Lamb on the far post. He skipped away from the attempted challenge. Here's an opportunity for that goal. Barac blocked at the first stage and rifles in the second. Daniel Barac, who perhaps is fortunate to still be on the field, cracks home another goal, and FC have a magnificent 7.
Yeah, Canberra FC maybe just opening up a tired Rhinos side here in the final 10 minutes. It's the second in only the last couple. Really rolling this afternoon. This has been a very complete performance. It's tough for the Rhinos from their point of view. Undermanned and at the end of a long season, but this has been a very, very strong performance from Luka Ujita's side, and it's probably putting a couple of teams on notice.
2 for Barac, 2 for Ugrinic, Waters, Keir and Lamb. 7 for the home side, who may have found their groove. Ball in towards a chance here for Torres and the substitutes. He took too long to get his shot away, and Milicevic robbed him of a consolation. Cobertaldo. Big space for Lamb. Gianpaolo's gone left. It's Dom Gianpaolo. Lamb wants it back through the middle. Here's Jordan Lamb. Is this another for FC? It is. Brilliantly executed. The 1-2 from Lamb and Gianpaolo, and Jordan Lamb fires home another goal.
It's just really good transition play. It's pretty ruthless there from Canberra FC, starting from the back, and just a bit of gut running there from a couple of players to draw Rhinos defenders away and create that space for Jordan Lamb through the middle, and a nice finish there against the onrushing Montagna. It's never easy at full pace. As you mentioned, 8 for Canberra FC, and it's getting a bit nasty in these closing minutes.
So 3 in 3 minutes, near enough, from Canberra FC. And they've just run out of steam here, the Rhinos, you think? It's a perfect afternoon for Luka Ujita's team so far. They're 8-0 up here. And Belconnen and Canberra Olympic sharing the spoils at the moment. Here's Barac. Milicevic. Maybe they're not done yet. Here's Maragis. Red shirts flooding forward in this attack as well. And it's a corner conceded by Pandolfo. Rhinos wanted a free kick. Plenty of chances. The red shirts, of course, popping forward. They all want a goal. Maragis will take the corner. 3.5 minutes to go. Something going on in the penalty area. It's McConney going to check on the health of one of the Rhinos players. Didn't see what happened there. Did he crack his head on the post or something, Dave? It's Michael Musatano. It's
Hudson Fanani, I think. Yeah. He was the one that went down behind play. His play streamed into the box before, so interesting to see what's happened.
He seems to have recovered. He's on the post at the moment. Maragis swings it towards Barac, wins the header. Unable to deflect it goalwards. Into the final 3 minutes here. How long to go at McKellar, Dave?
About 7 minutes. 7 minutes left to play over there. Still 1-1. Olympic will have their full complement of plays back on in a couple of minutes, so it should be an interesting final few.
They'll be busted a gut to try and get a winner. Lamb in the midfield. Gianpaolo. Early for the Rhinos. Now Fanani. Ball forward towards Torreson. Brunskill was awake to the danger. Barac. Colbertaldo. Brunskill. Barac again. Wins the throw. Canberra FC finishing as they started. In complete and utter control of the football match. Ian Graham. Musatano venturing forwards. Hooks it up in the air. Ryan Keir brings it down. And Brunskill's happy to go home.
Really just seeing this one out. Now I think Russ, Canberra FC look happy to just kind of control it, wind down the last couple of minutes, and why wouldn't they be? this is probably the performance that some of the old faithful in that VIP room have been really waiting for this season.
Brunskill looking to get on the end of it. Montagna sends that one out of the ground into the playground behind the stand on this side. We asked a question at the top of the broadcast about it was a must-win for Canberra FC. They've responded in emphatic fashion.
Yeah, they really have. As I mentioned, it's the performance they've probably been waiting for. They've only scored, 3 or more a couple of times this season against some other teams, and so this is a really big performance. Their goal scoring hasn't been what it was last year, but neither is their defence. So a clean sheet really is just as valuable as the 8 goals they've scored down the other end.
And as we said, it significantly improves their goal difference into plus figures. And with results going as they are, Canberra FC pushing into 4th place, I think.
Yeah, they'll sit in 4th place on 17 points. Level on points with Monero and Belconnen United. Sorry, they'll actually go into 3rd place.
With a goal difference, yeah, they will.
Ahead of Monero on goal difference. With Monero and Gungahlin still to play tomorrow, obviously, but that's a massive result, not somewhere that many people have expected to see them over the last few weeks.
Leap of 3 places up the table ahead of Gungahlin's game. Of course, Gungahlin will, after tomorrow afternoon, also have a game in hand against Belconnen United. That rearranged game is now looking really important for both teams. And with a 2-0 lead for Gungahlin in that one, should be fireworks at Greenway next week, or the week after, I should say. Here's Jackson looking to get a response for Rhinos at the end. In stoppage time, his strike forced a save from Brown. Didn't overextend the goalkeeper, though. Moon goes back to Musitano. He can't find Mulrooney Castellano. Time ticking away into stoppage time, as we said. Is there one final nail in the coffin? Here's Colbertaldo. Here's Jordan Lamb. He's in on a hat-trick, and he's got one. It's 9 for Canberra FC. It's a treble for Jordan Lamb.
That's just really cutting them to pieces there. Russ, some really nice link-up play. And Jordan Lamb, he's worked hard all afternoon, and he's scored 3 goals. Particularly a few late here now. Just reward for some good effort, but really just what a display from the reigning champions.
3 in 8 minutes for Jordan Lamb. The fastest hat-tricks we've seen for a while. And Canberra FC 9-0 up over the Riverina Rhinos. Biggest defeat of the season for the Rhinos. They copped an 8-1 against Olympic in round 8. They've been summarily dispatched this afternoon at the home of the reigning champions, who are looking to make a statement to get back into the race for the top 4. I think it's fair to say most people expected them to win this afternoon, but perhaps not quite as heavily as they have done so.
Yeah, they're obviously favourites coming into this game, you'd say, on form and ladder position, but I don't think anyone would have picked this as the scoreline. This has been a really convincing outing from Luka's side. He'll certainly be pleased with this heading into the sheds after the game.
But for a wayward penalty from Daniel Colbertaldo, they'd be in double figures. When Joe Priest hit the crossbar at 1-0 seems an awfully long time ago now. Montagna, who really could have done anything about any of the goals that have gone in. He's been left rather exposed. Early finds Fanani. Still pushing forward to the end, the Rhinos. Priest happy to go back to his goalkeeper. Alex McConaughey looked at his watch and let it go for a little bit longer. Here's Pandolfo. Montagna. Priest. Good switch of play. A little bit of space for Fanani. Taking on Milicevic. Moon. Early. Now Priest. Keir slows down any momentum, and Priest happy to go back to his goalkeeper to start again. We really can only have seconds remaining Priest again. They're just playing out time now, the Rhinos, waiting for the referee to blow his whistle, which he does on cue. And it's a big, big, big win for Canberra FC, not just in terms of the scoreboard day, but in terms of the overall standings.
Yeah, a win that really impacts quite a lot here. As we said, up to third spot. Not something we really were expecting at the start of the afternoon, but a really complete display, a clean sheet that matters just as much probably to Luca and the team as the scoreline does. For the Rhinos, a really tough afternoon, always up against it, being undermanned and struggling with numbers and having to travel. Probably a little bit to look at for Gabriel Abdallah, but they'll look to just see out the season now, I think.
Thanks for your company this afternoon, Dave. They're in stoppage time at Mackellar. It's Belconnen 1, Canberra Olympic 1. So a draw at the moment, it looks like over there. Depends on how many minutes they've got to add on. It's no such thing here at Deakin Stadium. It was a bit of a rout in the end. A hat-trick from Jordan Lamb, added to a couple from Daniel Balach, 2 from Jason Ugrinich, 1 from Matty Waters and 1 from Ryan Keir. A statement win for Canberra FC and for Luca Oida's team. Puts them back into the top 4. They sit third ahead of the games tomorrow. The final score at Deakin Stadium, Canberra FC 9, Riverina Rhinos 0.